Everybody, welcome. This is Dr. Mitch right here on 850 FTL. I always try to bring guests that are compelling, interesting, and eloquent on the radio. You're going to find this gentleman is as well. He's a very, very dear friend of mine, brilliant guy, and actually he's also a student of mine. Yeah, he is. He's an endocrinologist in Orlando, Florida. You've heard him on the show before. And his name is Dr. Edwin Lee. He wrote a book recently, which I read today. And I know he's been waiting for me to read it. He's been dying to get me reading it. And I had to call him and say, come on the show. And I guess that gets me to finally in the day to read it. The book is just the most delightful, educating, sweet, well-done book I've seen in a long time, children's books. This is a book called Your Amazing Heart. Yeah, that's right, Your Amazing Heart, where it's a combination. You get it in the iTunes store. You have to get it on the iPad. It's really neat. It's a combination of a story that you read to your children, and then you push these little icons, and these figures go through basically the story and, unlock the treasure chest and show you what the keys are. We'll talk about that a little bit. Ed, thank you so much for coming to the show. I know you just landed your way, but I'm glad you came today. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Mitch. Always a pleasure to be on your show.
Of course it is. It has to be a pleasure to be here, and I'm glad you're here. So you do this. This is your first shot at a children's book, by the way. Yeah, marvelous.
Definitely. Thank you, Mitch. Before I forget, I'd like to also say that I have to give also credit to my animator, illustrator, whose name is Brian Burright, who was on the Avatar movie set for 3 years.
Wow.
So the videos that you see in the illustrations, he's really talented.
Very
and then
talented.
I also have a co-author named Jim Huff, who basically has helped produce and write this book too.
Well, altogether, it turns out to be a wonderful book, and it's really a symbol of two things to me. One, it's the beginning of today, the technology of today. It combines the reading, it combines the sight, it combines the animation. It's really a neat book, I think, that children really will enjoy. And the other part of this is that there's a message, and it's a good message because it's a great segue from what I was talking about before, that you have a heart and that we should start teaching our children how to keep their hearts healthy for a long time. And I applaud your tenacity in doing this, plus your foresight to try to help, in the kids. Why not educate the children? That's what you did, Ed. I think that you did a great job.
Thanks, Mitch. Actually, I have this passion to teach children about simple health secrets so that they can have a healthy life, because I'm sure what you see and what I've seen over the many years that we've been treating a lot of chronic disease could basically be prevented. And the number one killer in the United States, or actually in the Western world, is heart disease.
Yeah.
And this is a preventable disease. And if we take better care of our bodies and start at a younger age, and this is what I really believe, that you have to educate and pass the message on. And but by the way, I'm so excited to tell you that this book just won the Silver Award, called the Moonbeam Children's Book Award. So it just got silver.
Isn't that great? Well, I want to delve into the book a little bit because
sure.
People are listening. They might have their children with them, but they may have their grandchildren, and they may want to get a hold of this book. And we'll talk about where to get it again a couple of times. But I'd like to first, talk, if I'm allowed. I'd like to reveal, because you basically, what I liked about the book was it wasn't complex. It wasn't overdone. It's basically giving kids what you call the 3 keys to the treasure chest. And we could talk about them, right? We won't begin.
Yeah.
No, let's talk about the first key. It doesn't matter whether you said yes or no, Ed. I was going to talk. It was my show. I was talking about it anyway. So the first one.
So the first secret, it's I keep it simple. It's called huff, puff, and sweat, and that doesn't mean smoke, but basically you have to exercise and you have to go out and play. And I think too many kids these days are just watching videos, and that's not. I think limited video is fine, but if you play too much and you don't explore the world and go out and have fun, you're going to waste your childhood.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, years ago, we didn't have any of these. There was no such thing as a computer. There was no such thing as games. What I would look forward to when I got home from school, getting out there with my friends, we'd play, we'd be outside, we'd run around, I don't know, played hide and seek, stick ball, half ball, punch ball, I don't know, all these things, which were all physical until, a mother would open the door or dad and yell, dinner time, all the different people yelling, you'd run in. Do you remember doing that, Mark?
Oh, yeah. I never stayed indoors.
Yeah, I mean, Ed, you remember that, too. You're old enough to remember it was like that. But the kids nowadays, I don't know about your kids, but kids nowadays, and mine, too, they wanted to come home, get onto the iPad, get onto the computer, play a computer game, which really has made their mind and their body, pretty lazy. So that's an easy one to go back to if we can convince the parents simultaneously, and I think the parents will have fun with it too because it's so adorable, to get your kid outside. When your kid comes home, simple task, to get outside already. Go play.
Kick the ball around, or just play with your kid, or let them go out and explore and to get dirty and climb a tree and have fun.
Yeah, I think that's it. Now, empowering kids always comes from their from their peers when they're older. When they're young, it's coming like this book from the parents, their teachers and parents. And the second key is, I think, one of the most difficult ones because parents use this thing as a reward. Talk to us about that second key.
Well, the second secret really is eat less sugar. And it shows in the book what happens to the body and what happens to the heart in 10, 20, and 30 years, and eventually it shows a heart attack. So I really wanted to show them what happens in the future if you just eat too much sugar, which is candy, cookies, sodas, pies, and cakes, and all basically the refined sugars, which there's so much out there. And as you know, atherosclerosis and plaque starts when you're like 2 years old. You get early plaque, and it just continues to build up because of the sugar.
Yeah, I think that's an important point you just made. The folks and parents and grandparents need to hear that very clearly, that these things begin way, 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 way early in life. At the times where you're giving the kids, here's sweetheart, here's something sweet. If you do your homework, I'll give you a piece of candy. I'll give you this or that, where really we should be rewarding with, good fruits and vegetables. Like grapes, one of the sweetest substances known to earth, would be great because it has grapeseed extract. It's got the skin extract. We've got a lot of things that we can offer. Why are we not offering this? And I tell you the truth, Dr. Lee, if we don't convince these parents to begin this, it's never happening because most of the vending machines and stuff in school still doesn't hold a candle of nutrition. And I think you would agree with me.
Definitely. And the comments that we're getting on this book, it just came out, is that it opens a great family discussion about healthy nutrition at the family table.
Yeah.
So I really think that it really opens up that can of worms. Like if you really want a healthy body and a healthy family, and it's an investment. It really is an investment in your health. So I think this brings a great discussion to the family.
And we all want our kids and family to become healthy, so it's important. Key number 3, the third one that you bring to the table and then summarize. Talk to us about that one.
Key 3, or secret 3, is actually very simple. Eat more vegetables. And if kids don't like vegetables, introduce some juicing techniques. And there's a wonderful recipe in the book called the Green Monster. Very simple to make with parent supervision, and it's delicious. If the kids don't like to eat it, maybe you can sweeten it, not with sugar, but basically use some cinnamon or some other extract to basically make it palatable, and maybe throw in like a quarter of an apple or something like that to basically mask the taste. But have more fiber in your diet, and all the phytonutrients and vitamins and minerals found in vegetables. That's where you can really help anyone in terms of, especially your kid, in terms of having a healthy heart.
So what you've done is you've identified the problem, and I always like to look things and put them into a outline perspective. You've identified, Dr. Lee, a problem that heart disease is still our number one killer. If it's not 1, it's 2 in other countries, with cancer being first. 2, you've identified the problem, the cause, and the effect. The cause and the effect related are children starting way young, begin to eat wrong, don't exercise. They're not eating the right foods that really make a difference. And so our toll is being taken as 10, 20, 30 years, as you illustrate in the book later. And then, then the next thing you've identified is that the parents, we have to be responsible for helping these children to get a good habits. We're the ones that help them develop it. So get this book, folks. It's called Your Amazing Heart. You can find it on iTunes. Is there any place else other than iTunes we can get it, Ed?
Well, down the road, we're going to have it on Kindle, so it'll be on Amazon. But currently, it's not on Amazon, and it'll eventually be on a printed version. So for people that don't have iPads or Kindle, you can get it, let's say, in the printed version on Amazon. But it's pending. I was hoping that it'd be out by now, but that's still beyond my control. But you can go on to Apple iTunes and just type in Your Amazing Heart. And the second way is you can go to IHB Publishing, and basically that will link you right into the Apple iTunes.
Great book for a talk, as you say, at the table. Great book for helping encourage your children to get great habits early on. Great book for you to make the early insurance policy in getting your kids and grandkids to be healthy. Your Amazing Heart. Wonderful, amazing, great job, Dr. Edwin, Edwin Lee, Lee. That's Edwinlee. Check it out on iTunes. I know you're going to love it. Ed, as always, love having you. Come back. I know you're going to be doing another one soon on other systems for children and other books as you've done in the past. Love having you, as you know that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thanks, Doctor.
God bless.
Thanks. God bless. Bye, Ed.
Bye-bye.
We'll be right back with lots more of the Dr. Mitch Show.